Hello everyone. Now let us see the internal functioning of the CRUD operation, that is create, read, update and delete. Here I have added a breakpoint to each of the function, and let's see how the internal functioning goes on. So let us move on to view. This is the form that we have created. So let's create a simple entry. Name of the student is. So now I'll click on save. Let's see what happens. So here it will come to this breakpoint of action create, and in this object I will get all the data that I have entered: address, branch, name, roll number, contact number. Here we get all the data. Now here we have used the home model object because this all the elements we have declared in home model class, so it is necessary to declare the same object of the particular class. So we will be declaring home model object home model, and here we will be getting all the data. Now let us have a look what goes further. So this is student entry dot create. Now we will be sending the data to create function, which is in the business layer. Now here we have come in the student entry class. This is the business layer, and we have come to the create function. Here you can see that we have passed the data to this function. As the data is here, we can see. Now moving on, how the data is been saved. So this is the connection string, as you have to write yours, like data source, initial catalog, which is the database name, user ID and password. So this is just creating connection, and here is the insert statement, insert into student details, that is the name of our table, and what all we have to enter. These are the name, roll number, branch, address, contact number. These are the column name, and then values, like the object name dot name. This is how we enter the values, and thus we have done the complete function of create. Now the data is been saved. So here we will be creating a new home model object. This is object. Now object dot list. Now the thing is, we have updated our data, we have inserted our data into the database. Now at the same time we also have to update the table so that we can quickly see the changes that we have made. So now we will be taking a list from the same student entry class read function. Okay, so we are now further moving towards the read function. Here you can see the read function in student entry class. Now here we will be reading all the data that is in the database of our particular table. The name of our table is student details. The procedure is same. It consists of the connection string, and here is the statement: select star from student details. Here we'll be getting all the data by this statement, and now we have filled the data table dt. It is necessary to insert the value of data table in the form of list so that it becomes easy to display it on the view. I'll add here a breakpoint so that we'll come to the next part here, and this is the list. Now we have got the list count 4. You can see the 4 list. Each list consists of a particular entry. Here you can see the 0th list, first list, second list, third list, and this list will be passing out to our controller. Here you can see again we are in the controller, and we have got the list. And we'll be pressing F5 to go on to the view, and you can see the entry here, like donor, the entry which we have done right now, donor 122 IT sample and contact number. So this is the update statement, create statement to create a new data entry for the student details. Now let us move on to update details. How to update it? Click on the record that you have to update. The form is blank. Once the record is selected and we click on update, Now you can see that we are going here again to breakpoint. First, it is very necessary to bring the data details for the record which we have selected and display it on the form for the sake of updation. Now here the name that we have entered was student. The record that we have selected is student, so we have to update the student record. Now we will get that record. Again we will create a blank model obj. Then in obj we will take the record of student. So here we come in the student entry class, which is also which we also call it as business logic. Here is the update function. We have passed the name here. The name of student is student. Now here we will be taking all the data, and here is the statement. Here you can see select star from student detail where name is equal to student. Now we will get all the data detail of the student named student. We'll fill the data table here, and after filling the data table it is necessary to pass it in a list. So we have got a list. Now here is the name of student and his all details. Now we'll pass this to the view, and here you can see that we have got all the detail of the name student. Now we'll change here. We'll change this data as per the requirement, and now here you can see the detail like the roll number is branch and the address, and the same thing we have changed here. Let us see how to update it. Once the changes are done, click on save. Again we'll come here to the controller. As you can see here, the executor, we have got the edited changes here, like branch I have changed from CO to IT, contact number is being changed, and address is changed from something to something 465. So let us save this. Again we create a blank home model. So save updated changes. Now have a proper look at this statement. We are passing the object home model object to save updated changes function, which is in the student entry class. So that is the reason why we have written this thing. And now we are also taking something from this function, and we are taking that particular thing in obj. And let us have a look what we are taking from the function. Going on to the function, here is the function in student entry class, save update changes. We have passed the model here. This is the model, and the saving process. So taking the connection string and moving on to update query. Here you can read the details like update student details, set name is equal to object home model name, and where name is equal to object home model dot name. As we have seen, while update function we need to keep something constant, and in this case we have kept name of the student constant so as to use it in the where condition. We'll move on further, and this is how we save the changes. Till here the data is been completely saved. Fine. Now we need to reflect the changes in the table as soon as we update or save the changes. So we'll be going to the read function now, like object.list is equal to read. So this is the read function. Here the function is same. We just need to fill the data table and then convert that data table into list. Pass that all the data into a list. Here we go. Select star from student details. Fill the data table, adapt.fill dt. So here the data table is completely filled, you can see. So this is the data table. Now it is very necessary to convert this data table into a list, which we'll do here. I'll press F5 and it directly comes here. So here we get the list of 4, and this list is to be passed into the function to the controller. and here we'll get the list, and we'll press F5 to go to the view. Now if you see here, the record of student is been updated. Like we changed the roll number, IT, branch IT, and address to something 456. Now it's time to delete a record. How the record is deleted? Suppose I have to delete this Ajay record. I'll click on Ajay, so the record is selected, and now click on delete. Thus the action comes to the controller. Now I'll take something reference. So the reference that I have taken is the name Ajay. So I've got here in this string variable, and now moving on further, again I'll create a blank object, and then this name will be passed to delete function in student entry class. We'll come here to delete. Here the same function, we are taking the connection string, establishing a connection, we are writing a query, and the query will be delete from student details where name is equal to Ajay. And here we execute the non-query function. Same method we followed in update. As soon as we make changes to the database, it is very necessary to reflect the changes into the table, and that is the reason why we are using this read function, which will return us a list. And we have already seen the read function, what it does, so we will directly move further. Read function, as we know, we have seen it in the previous video, in the previous part of update and create. So let us move on further. Here I click, and it comes to the next point, which returns a list. Now previously there were 4 records, but now we get 3 records because one of the record called Ajay is been deleted. Going further, now directly we come here. So here you can see that there are only 3 records now, as we have deleted one. So this is the delete function.